Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Hardwood Hoops Hangout. Got my man Meek Mill and my man Lance Roberson. Uh, we're here to talk all things NBA. We're gonna get started with it. I want to talk about one of the most epic matchups, probably in the NBA for I'd say at least the last 2 years that I can think of. Last Saturday's matchup between the Thunder and Warriors. What'd you think of it, guys?
Oh, it was a fan. I'd say it's one of the best regular season games. I'd say in recent memory, like even going beyond the last couple years, because it was so intense. Like it had, I'd say it had like an NBA Finals atmosphere almost. Like you didn't want to, you didn't want to turn off the TV at all. You were just glued to it. And then, Steph Curry goes down with the injury, and you're like, oh no. And then he just comes back, and I mean, this guy, Stephen Curry, is absolutely phenomenal. Like, I think, and he did it on national television. As everybody knows, he had the 44 points, hit, 30, I guess, they changed it to a 37-foot three, they said, to win the game. Just phenomenal. But I think the key, typically what we've been harping on for the last few weeks with the Thunder, it's the same thing. Down the stretch of games. They had this game won. Just stupid plays, and it's always a steady dose of KD and Russell Westbrook. They don't trust their teammates, and you see where it gets them. I mean, hell, Kevin Durant didn't even trust his teammates enough. He just throws the ball up in the air. Come on. Like, at least, and Billy, let me get on Billy Donovan. Call a damn timeout. Your season's in trouble. Call a timeout. Like, I think that's a Scott Brooks move. So, I think Czar Harp, he talked about it, like right after Donovan got signed to be coach of the Thunder. Is he going to make an improvement? And I think the consensus was absolutely not. And you see why. Like, it's almost like he has no control over those guys because it's the same thing. It's Russell Westbrook, it's Kevin Durant, and they're great players, but trust your teammates. Use the guys. And you'll have a chance to win games because they are an extremely deep team. I mean, they're all three games they should have beat the Warriors this year, and they've lost all three.
Man,
so it shows they are very talented. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, have they had the lead going into the fourth quarter all season long, like in the three games against the Warriors this year?
I think this last one had an 8 or 9 point lead, right?
They were up one the last game going. It was 83-82, I think, going into the Thunder were up one. But and then they had they interviewed in the second game. They interviewed Billy Donovan, and they were asking him about these fourth quarter collapses where they've blown now 10 games in the fourth quarter. The only team to blow more games in the fourth quarter league. Sorry, Pete, the Philadelphia 76ers. But Pete knows they're not a very good team. It's expected.
We all know.
Oklahoma City Thunder, and Billy Donovan said it's just basically, it's not a big deal. What? Are you serious? That's why he sucks as a coach.
All right.
That's what I gotta say about that.
I mean, for all those blown leads, like what we were saying in pre-show, I mean, this team is full of perennial all-stars, one, maybe two future Hall of Famers with Durant and Westbrook. It's mind-boggling to see them allow these these blowouts to turn into close games and then turn into heart crushers for them. The last game, I wasn't too surprised. I mean, the Warriors are playing at home. The Thunder had just played it back-to-back. So I kind of am surprised they were even in it for that long. But the second game, the one on Saturday night, I was just blown away. I was like, man, I know the run's gonna come. We all knew it was gonna come, but I didn't think they would win. I knew the run was gonna come. It was probably gonna be like a 5-point game, but the Thunder would close it out, right? I mean, that's what you would want to think because Durant usually makes big shots, or Westbrook somehow finds his way to the rim, which he was in the beginning. I mean, this guy makes some of the toughest drives look so easy to him. And then you got Curry to go down, which at first I didn't see Westbrook step on it, so I didn't know what happened to him. I was like, man.
Westbrook stepped on. He just landed funny.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No. I think Westbrook did.
Oh, he did. No,
Yeah,
Westbrook
he did.
stepped on him. He stepped.
But not like it was like intentionally or anything.
No, it was an accident. It was an accident.
But everyone's always like, oh, the Warriors are just one ankle injury away, and I'm just like, well, here it goes, And then we have the whole Draymond Green thing at halftime, which is like, man, if the Warriors lost, just imagine the media would just be going off, like setting a blaze of the Kerr and Draymond Green.
They didn't do that even though they won.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was.
There's problems in the Warriors locker room.
Well, I mean, it's one thing for someone to leak it out. No, Draymond Green's loud mouth allowed it to get out to the media because he was so loud that everyone heard it.
Yeah, I read the little thing today. It was is it Lisa Salters who's the
yeah. Mm-hmm.
She had they were allowing her to be in the hallway right by the locker room.
Right.
She heard it, and that's why she reported on it.
And can you blame her? I mean, that's
no, she's doing her job.
But I guess I follow people that write for the Warriors, and they're saying that it was bound to happen because ever since Kerr came back, Draymond Green has it's like his shots are monitored, like his 3-point shots are being monitored a lot more than with Walton. Walton let him freewillingly just shoot around or shoot wherever he wanted or whatever. But I will say Draymond Green still impacted the game. I think he had 10 or 11 assists and 10 rebounds. So, I mean, say what you want about the dude, but he still produced even when most people would be sulking or not getting back on D or whatever. But, yeah, that game, I caught the Holy Ghost at the end. That's what I'm going to say about that last shot. It was late as hell. I was honestly, the only reason I got to watch it because I was sick. So I kind of found the strength to yell out, like, oh, my God, like Curry, nothing he does anymore surprises me.
No, I'm a Bulls fan, but that's the craziest I've gone, just screaming out loud for a team that I'm like. I like the Warriors. They're not my favorite team, but I like the Warriors. I like to watch them play. Now
they're not hard to like though either. I mean, because a lot of teams that win a lot, you kind of tend to hate them, but there's something about them. It's hard to. Hate on them.
I'm one of the exceptions to the rule. You know who hates the Warriors? Is Bulls fans. Because they don't want them to break that record.
Well, yeah, the record, yeah.
My best friend made a Facebook post today. It was either yesterday or today, and he was like, man, I officially hate this Warriors team. I don't want them to break the Bulls record. Because he's a big-time Bulls fan, Michael Jordan all-time fan.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Byron.
I think both of you had awesome points with it. I want to shout out. I actually thought it was pretty cool. It made SportsCenter Shady 00018. He's a video editor. He's kind of just a freelance editor. He basically plays the NBA 2K series and has put out video content for probably about 5 or 6 years now. Put out the actual shot that Curry. He simulated it in the game. Mm-hmm. Basically, if you haven't seen it, you need to go check it out. His Twitter handle is @Shady00018.
Yep.
Really cool video. And then Mike Wang even went on SportsCenter as well, or I think it might have been First Take. I can't remember which one. But basically said that 2K can't even replicate how much Curry is pulling up from behind the 3-point line. It's basically killing the sim engine.
He's kind of breaking the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's better than the video game.
Like, in awe of the shot. Like, I was laying in bed and I'm like, I watch Curry come up. I'm like, okay, he's gonna come up and pull up from 3, but I didn't think it'd be that far out. And you can see Westbrook's like way back, and he's like, just the reaction was like, holy shit! Like, you pulled up from that range and he hit it. And I literally blew my lungs out, like, oh man,
watch the replay. Look at the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah. What's his name?
Before it went in, as the shot was released, they knew it was in.
Cantor had the best reaction. Everyone keeps pointing out it was Cantor that had the best one.
Yes.
Oh, did you also see Pete? I saw that. I forgot who was on Twitter. But the shady guy, they used it on ESPN, but they didn't give him they didn't put his username and all that from
And
his
it was
YouTube.
Leftos that drew attention to it. Leftos
Yeah.
works for 2K, and yeah, he brought up a valid point that ESPN cropped out basically his emblem in the corner
That's bullcrap, man.
that highlighted it, to kind of be his work and just made it like a quick video. It's like, yeah, I guess ESPN is the biggest sports network out there, but at the same time, come on, give the guy some credit. He works hard on the videos. It was a hell of a video.
I bet Disney didn't want to pay him any money.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, they're screwing him out of subscribers. Because people might have been like, hey, maybe he has cool videos, and they could have, subscribed to his channel. That's what he.
It would have been huge, but also Disney would have had to probably come off some money for it.
You think so? You think? I mean,
for using his Twitter handle, they probably would have had to pay him a little change, and that's why they bleeped it out. They didn't. They might not have gotten permission because Disney owns ESPN.
right.
Yeah.
So they would have had to use. They would have had to have permission to show his Twitter handle and all that. They can't just show it. They'd have to get from him.
But
And
I don't know.
The funny thing about that is,
they're afraid of lawsuits and stuff. They didn't want to come off any money. But everybody's going to shout the guy out. He did a fantastic job. It was great. I saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing is though they have it's Brandon Armstrong is the impersonator that does all the NBA impersonations, and they posted the one that he did recently about Cam Newton. He's starting to do the NFL, and they gave him a shout out. And I was like, come on, if you're going to do that, at least give the guy a break. But
I mean, because it's not like he's gonna be charging like, oh, I want $5,000 for you,
Right.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. One of my buddies I told you about that played at UT, he had to guard Carmelo Anthony in the Final Four. Jordan Brand used a commercial just of one clip of him contesting a shot. They paid him like $2,000 for it, just to use that clip.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's not just
Insider info.
Yeah.
You, man. Okay, our little Stephen A. Smith over here.
That's right.
Hopefully,
just don't call me Chris Broussard.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if I want to be Stephen A. Smith with all this stuff that he's been spewing out lately.
Oh man, don't get me started on Stephen A. Smith.
The Kyrie Irving thing.
And the Warriors and Stephen Curry. Is he having the greatest season we've ever seen? I think it's a legitimate question. I'm not being biased, but little Stephen Curry.
Uh-oh.
Yes, right.
I mean,
I'm a fan.
As far as just because he has improved and he's shooting he's averaging right now. I think they said 36 points per game. Not all season, but they're like on the stretch, averaging 36 points per game and 54% shooting. I forgot how many games they said.
In the last 5 games, he's shooting over 60% from the 3-point line, and it's not like he's taking 2. In 2 straight games, he hit 22 total.
Right.
Like that's another thing about that shot that he hit. Not only did it put him way ahead on the all-time threes made. It tied the record for single game threes made in a single game. Like it won the game. It was just a huge shot.
Held by Donnell Marshall and Kobe Bryant.
Yeah. When Donnell Marshall was with the Raptors, I believe.
But guess what? What did Curry go 12 for 16 from 3?
Yeah.
Is that what he did?
Exactly.
Yeah. I wonder what Kobe's numbers were.
What was Kobe?
They weren't no 12 for 16.
What was Kobe? 12 for 30. That was
basically.
That's one of my all-time favorites, but I had to throw it out there. I like Kobe.
We got a couple guys in the chat. Just want to shout out. We got Julian Lamenzo 94, and we got Mr. Sam I Am.
Hey.
Yeah.
So Sam I Am saying that the Thunder don't have the discipline in the fourth quarter and overtime.
No.
Durant even said they don't have discipline, which is funny.
accurate.
Durant said that himself.
Hey, he hit it right on the head.
You're saying that, so that means you need to go talk to your boy Russell too. Let him know.
And talk to Billy Donovan for not having the discipline to call a damn timeout.
Someone said on ESPN that Donovan is just Scott Brooks but without glasses. I forgot who said that on ESPN, but it was
He
hilarious.
hasn't improved the team like I thought he would. I mean, you've got Deion Waiters, who could potentially have, a couple good scoring games. You have Enes Kanter that can score. So you have some supplemental pieces that could, take away, from Durant and Westbrook and kind of give it a more, team-oriented feel.
And you've got some shooters with Foy and Morrow. And
they don't play Payne either. They don't play Payne.
They don't use them at all. It's
Exactly
basically Durant or Westbrook, and that's all you get.
On I think it was Thursday night. One of these they were talking on I think it was First Take. They were talking about like Anthony Morrow was just like, you look at these guys with the Thunder this year, like he can't hit a shot to save his life anymore.
Right.
I think it's because they're not putting him in a position to be successful.
Well, you need to touch the ball more than a couple times to get on.
He doesn't know when he's going to get the ball. Now Kevin Durant is more. Dare I say this, and maybe the basketball gods will strike me down, but dare I say Kevin Durant is way more unselfish than Russell Westbrook?
Well, no, that's a fair assessment. I think he's too unselfish. I think he's too
Kevin
unselfish.
Durant is a selfish guy, but he has to. The way Westbrook plays, and he's still great, but Durant kind of has to be selfish from time to time because Westbrook. If you look, I bet Westbrook leads the team in shot attempts. That cannot happen if Kevin Durant is on your basketball team.
Right.
That cannot happen if Kevin Durant is on your basketball team. Russell Westbrook cannot lead the team in shot attempts.
Well, the two biggest things that I noticed, especially in last Saturday's game and then the game against the Clippers, are the turnovers by Kevin Durant. He's kind of forcing it to get his shot late. And then you can look at Westbrook, kind of look at Durant, and he's like, no, I got it. And he takes wild contested shots. And it's like, that is not system basketball that's going to get you wins. No. You look at the Warriors on the other side. Draymond Green's going off. You got Iguodala, showing up. Hell, even Sean Livingston.
Man, that dude is pro.
Sean Livingston was one of their, outside of Curry, he was their best player last night. Sean, you saw what he did.
And Maurice Spades had a little thing going too.
Yeah, he was hitting threes.
Still trying to find out what that thing on his head is, but I don't know if I'll ever know.
Well, the funny thing is people question kind of Anderson Varejao coming to the Warriors. Would that make a difference?
Right.
I personally don't think the athleticism is there because of the Achilles injury, but he's able to get you a good 8 to 10 minutes of consistent rebounds. Just hustle, get to loose balls.
Mm-hmm.
Give Bogut a rest, and that's the advantage that the Warriors have is all these pieces kind of seem to fit the puzzle, and then you have a team like OKC where it's like you're looking down the roster and you see Anthony Morrow, you see Cameron Payne, you see Kyle Singler that are shooters, and it's like, why are you not being utilized? Even Randy Foye, even though he's shooting a career low this season from three, still a shooter. I mean, you're not utilizing these players at their strengths at all. And then Ibaka has had a down. I'd say probably last 20 games, where he just looks like a marginal role player.
That's Billy Donovan to me, because the one thing I will give, Scott Brooks is better, slightly, only because he knew how to use Serge Ibaka.
Now, let me ask you this, guys. What do you think that they're missing Mo Cheeks because of surgery, and then, of course, Monty Williams because of the death of his wife? Do you think that experience on the bench, as far as both of them being previous head coaches and just their defensive mindset and being able to kind of reach player personnel, that experience, do you think them not being there is the difference in the Thunder right now, or do you think that it's just Billy Donovan's inability to pull the best out of players?
Okay, so let's not be disrespectful here. They're assistant coaches, but I mean, a lot of times assistant coaches do a lot behind the scenes that we don't know about. I mean, it definitely matters. I don't think it's a difference maker, though. Honestly, I think it's more so. I know this sounds crazy, but I think it's more so on the players than Donovan. I mean, because at what point? I mean, they're veterans. They've been in the league for a while now. At what point do you take the keys from Donovan and be like, well, we need to do better? Because if all he's going to do is roll out the balls, then I guess we're going to have to play harder and play smarter. I mean, when Waiters gets probably like the third most shot attempts, and that's probably not good. No. That's what it seems like anyways.
No, Cantor should be their third scorer.
Right, and I think mostly he is right, but it seems like the big games that I watch, Waiters, and sometimes he looks good. Like some of the stuff he does, it looks good. He just cannot finish layups. I put it more on the players, but I can definitely see the gripe from the coaching. I don't know if he's holding them accountable enough. That's my problem.
Because you got all the numbers, so you'll probably know you have a good chance to know this. They're 2-6 since the All-Star break. So we know that definitely coincides with Monty Williams and his, and the tragic passing.
Right.
But what about Mo Cheeks? When did he go? When is he?
Well, he went out. It was basically at the end of December.
Yeah. I think.
Oh man.
I think when you add Monty Williams to that, it's had somewhat of an impact.
Right.
Look, since the All-Star break, and that's around the time his wife passed away in a car accident. They're 2-6 since the All-Star break. And they got blown out once, I think, but they should. I mean, they had the Warriors beat both times, and they had the Clippers beat. So, worst case scenario, they should be, 5-3.
And now
they're 2-6. They should be worst case scenario 5-3.
It's funny now because now the Clippers are ahead of them, I believe, by like a game.
No, the Clippers are still. They're tied in the loss.
They're tied.
In the loss column, but the Warriors, the Thunder have 2 more wins, I believe.
They're 42-20, and the Clippers are 40-20.
Gotcha.
Basically, in the last 10 games, the Clippers are 7-3, winning 3 straight. The Thunder are 4-6 in their last 10, losing 2 straight.
So, the Clippers are playing really good. So I think now, I know early on it was a blasphemous question, and I'm sure the Clippers players will say no, Are they better without Blake Griffin?
No.
Nah, I don't think so.
Because in the playoffs is a different story. Because with all due respect, I know Blake Griffin had some games where he disappeared but his playoff numbers were pretty good.
He did not disappear in the playoffs. I wouldn't say
he had some
disappeared in clutch moments.
His turnovers late in the fourth quarter were pretty questionable.
Yeah, that's his problem.
That's what I'm saying. Everything else was good.
He's got a high basketball IQ. Blake Griffin's a good basketball player. He's got a high IQ. I don't think anybody, but in close games, his IQ just goes to shits, which is crazy. Like, remember against San Antonio, I think it was the playoffs last year. They're close, and he comes down and he tries to do some double spin move, and he just throws the ball. Like, what are you doing?
It's plays like those that where I said he disappeared. Because I mean, you're doing so well the rest of the game, and then something happens and your mind turns off.
Like Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
I think it's fair. Now. We always
it is
LeBron James. It's true.
Right. No,
look at the playoffs a couple years ago, Spurs versus Thunder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Durant's got the basketball, chance to win the game. What does he do? He dribbles off his foot.
Yep.
And that happened with the Warriors a couple times in the last couple games.
Yeah.
Stepped out of bounds.
It's fair. I believe it is now fair. He believes, but I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he made an interesting point about that because I mentioned to him, and he said the difference between LeBron and Durant. LeBron was never crowned, or Durant was never crowned as the chosen one, the new face of the league, like LeBron was.
Well, the LeBron, he did that himself because he's the one that put the chosen. I think he has it on his back. You know how? Yeah, I think he has a chosen one on his back or on his chest when he came in. The powder celebration that we all know.
He stole that from Michael.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. We know where that came from. But I think now Durant people are getting at him more is because of the way he talks to the media now. Because he used to be a media darling, not so much now.
It's because they turned on him and he doesn't like it.
I just think I think he fights the wrong battles, honestly. Because he was talking about, are they going to get rid of the coach? Like, that's what the media was saying. And what happened? They got rid of the coach, right? But he was getting mad. I don't know where you're getting this information from, blah, blah, blah. We know. Come on, man. Players talk. People talk. I just think he chooses the wrong battles. And then he'll go back and apologize. I'm like, man up. You said it. Like, it's okay, man. Like, I think it's fine if you have an opinion. Like, there's worse things that you could say to the media.
What I've learned is, especially from Kobe Bryant, he's a media darling now. They used to hate. Yeah. After Colorado happened, they used to hate that guy. They love him now.
Well, because he's open now.
Yeah, that's what they want. Be open, Be available.
Well, let me ask you guys this. So, obviously, we know free agency's coming up, and we'll do a whole big free agency kind of lead up come May, June. all that stuff. But with the Thunder kind of, I would personally say I don't know that they're even a favorite to challenge come playoff time with the way that they're closing out games. Does Kevin Durant leave?
No. I still don't. I think he stays, but I think Westbrook leaves before Durant does. I know it's easier said, but I just don't. I said the same thing about LeBron too, about Cleveland. I don't think he's gonna leave, but I really don't think, because if Durant can't take just the media around Oklahoma, I don't think he can take anywhere else, because they'll have a field day with his comments.
I think Durant's going to leave, but he's not going to Golden State, and he's not going to Washington. I don't know where he's going to go. I think he's going to stop everything where he goes. Like, let's be honest. When LeBron was a free agent, we thought it was New York or Chicago. He goes to Miami.
Miami came out of nowhere, too. I remember that.
That's why I think Kevin Durant will shock us all. And I don't think it'll be L.A. either. I know a lot of people have said they're kind of, I think he's going to shock everybody.
Miami?
Philadelphia 76ers.
Dallas. Dallas. That makes sense, I'm telling you. Parsons.
Yeah, then in a sense, like he could go to Texas and essentially he's not going home, but he's going home.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's going to a second.
Dude, we love him here. My grandpa doesn't even watch basketball, but he loves Kevin Durant because of Texas University. I'm telling you.
I think he's going to shock people with where he goes.
Don't get me excited. Now I'm getting all giddy. We got to stop.
I could see him going to Dallas. I could see it. He's not going to San Antonio. They get too much money going out. And he's not going to the Rockets because I don't think he wants to play James Harden again, the most rated superstar in the entire league.
He liked him. He was mad when he left.
If he goes to, say, because the big rumor team obviously is the Wizards. If he goes to Washington, obviously that means Bradley Beal's probably not coming back. They let him go. With Kevin Durant there paired with John Wall,
the more willing passer.
Yeah. I think that's a better combination for him than Russell Westbrook. Now, it's not going to win them a championship unless they get some other, pieces around them. But, there could be a sleeper team out there that comes in. Like you said, Dallas makes a lot of sense with Dirk kind of maybe in his last season next year. Parsons would, is rumored, Lance, as you mentioned to me about Orlando.
Don't count New York out either.
And, with New York, it would just have to be, basically Melo would have to move on. And,
sign and trade.
So,
I think, that's the thing. I wouldn't be shocked if he went. I'm not saying he's going to go to New York.
Melo. If I'm Melo, I'm not going to Oklahoma. I wouldn't let him go to Oklahoma. She'd be mad as hell.
If Kevin Durant were to sign with someone like the Knicks, that would be a shock to everybody.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's not. I think he will sign with a team that we're going to be surprised about.
If he did sign with the Warriors, I don't know if, man, I'd be so angry. I'd be so angry because I don't even know. I still don't understand how that's possible. First of all,
because what they'll have to do, they'll have to move some guys. I believe they'll do a sign and trade.
Harrison Barnes will definitely be gone.
They'll do a sign and trade. Harrison Barnes will be involved. Because if you're the Thunder and you're going to lose Durant for nothing, would you take Harrison Barnes back? Absolutely. Yeah. He's good.
He's a good player.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, he goes to Oklahoma City. He's the second option. You're looking at a 20-a-game guy for them. I think he scores 20 a game with that team. And he would like it because he wants a bigger role. He's got a ring, so he's probably going to get another one this year, barring injury.
I still think he's not going to go, though. I think Durant stays. I do think Westbrook will leave for an LA team.
You think he goes to the Lakers?
I have a feeling he's going to go to the Lakers. UCLA boy.
And
wants
then
the spotlight.
Lakers. Hey, but here's the question now. If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, do you do that? Here's why. We're watching D'Angelo Russell look like an NBA basketball player.
Against the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, he said. Well, he's been doing well.
Yes.
He is, yes. But come on, are we really going to...
He was.
Are we really going to compare...
His 2K rating up.
Are we really going to compare...
He hasn't gone up in a while. He's killing it.
He went up a couple days ago. He's I think he's a 78 now.
Yeah.
Wow, so he went up four. So he went up four spots because he was a.
Wow, he was only 74.
He was 78 now. That's crazy.
I started in my career, so he is actually right around there.
Like he's hitting shots consistently. It's not like he's taking 23s and he hit 8 of 12 or what 6 of 9 threes the other day. So he's making shots. He's making plays. He can. I gotta say I was wrong because I thought he was going to be a bust. He can hoop.
77. I'm sorry.
And Pete, you were right. If he were with Philadelphia, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would trade Okafor for Russell.
Oh, in a heartbeat minute.
Absolutely.
Because they have too many bigs over there. That would definitely make sense. Philly has way too many bigs.
LA's not doing that now, though.
Now, let me ask you this: If Durant comes back, say he takes a 1 year, just a deal, that way he can go to free agency the next year.
Player option.
If you're OKC and you know that you're going to end up losing Russell Westbrook, say next season at the, or off season. I'm sorry, this next off season. And you realize you're going to lose him a year later. If you're the Lakers, I'm trading Jordan Clarkson. You can have, basically
Randall?
a draft.
Are you trading D'Angelo Russell though?
No, because I put Russell Westbrook,
Randall.
let him play the 2,
Yes.
and then let Russell play the point.
He's a point guard.
And,
So you got to trade Randall then, right?
I would trade Randall
If you know what? If you know you're going to lose Westbrook, then I would take Clarkson, Julius Randle, and a draft pick.
absolutely. Yep.
I would take that.
Because you have young talent to come in.
Yeah.
That basically you'll have, Cantor's young. You've got Julius Randle, Durant, and you'd have Jordan Clarkson.
What do you do with Ibaka? Because I think Julius Randle's a starting power forward. What do you do with Ibaka? Do you move him in another separate deal?
I would try to move him in another separate deal because you're looking ideally at Clarkson playing the 2 guard. You're looking at you can move Cameron Payne into the starting point.
Yeah, Durant.
Role.
Man, that's going to be such a young team for Durant.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it's still going to get you wins. Hey, they're still going to be better than the damn Houston Rockets, no matter what the Rockets
I
do.
know.
So,
That ain't saying much.
Shade is getting thrown at the Houston Rockets. I like it.
Going back to the Warriors real quick. I know we've talked about this and we kind of thrown out our predictions. Basically, with Steve Kerr at the helm, he said that resting guys is going to be the first, second, and third option before they even think about getting to 73 wins. Do you think it happens? Basically, they have to win. I think it's 11.
They got to go. They're 55 and are they 54 and 5 or 55 and 5?
They have
55 and 5.
Yeah.
So they got to go 17. They got to go 18 and 4. I call bullshit. He's going to play them until they break that record.
They're going to break it even with them.
Didn't they win a game? Upcoming schedule.
Didn't they win a game where they didn't play Curry and Hickey? They won a game a couple days ago, right?
It was Tuesday. They beat the Hawks in overtime.
I think they get it, man, even with resting players, because the Thunder can't even beat them.
This is their remaining schedule. They've got the Lakers, Orlando, Utah, Portland, Phoenix, the Pelicans, the Knicks.
Yeah, they
all in that stretch.
Man,
so that's pretty much.
They got to pick up.
They got the Spurs. They get the Spurs. They got the Spurs on the. I want to say the 19th. The Saturday, the Saturday ABC game. They got the Spurs in San
So, will the Spurs play all their players, or will they do the same thing as last time?
I think Pop at home. I think Pop plays them all.
You think so? I'm still waffling because it all depends on what the Spurs record is, because they're not that far away. They can still get the 1 seed somehow.
Well, here's the thing: if the Spurs lose 1 or 2 games before then, I don't think the Warriors are going to lose a game before then. They play nothing but below 500. They're playing.
Portland might give them like a little bit of something.
The Warriors, remember, they're going to blast Portland. They're going to
San Antonio. They've got to play them 3 times in their remaining games.
2 in
They
San
beat them all 3 times.
I think they'll beat them twice. They'll beat them 2 out of 3. They're going to get 1 in
the Warriors.
No, Warriors will get them 2 out of those 3.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I don't think the Spurs care at all. I really don't.
The Warriors will lose 3 games tops. I think the Warriors lose 8 games. They go 74 and 8. 74 and 8. I'm calling it.
Okay. I think, in all honesty, I think they're gonna end up tying the record. They don't beat it, but they tie it.
That'd be horrible. I want if you either beat it or you don't. That would be so anticlimactic, man.
Yes.
Because I think that Portland might give them a fit, even though they could potentially steamroll Portland, but they've got to play Portland twice. Portland's basically pushing to make the playoffs. You've got to play Dallas twice, and you've got to play San Antonio 3 times.
Well, we can't beat the Kings, so don't say we're going to beat them. We got lucky that I don't want to say lucky because that's disrespectful.
Remember, the Warriors have 16 home games left. 16 out of their 20. They're going to win all 6. They're going to win every home game. They're going to go undefeated at home this year.
Okay.
So that's 16 wins right there.
I think they beat a Bulls record with consecutive home games, right?
They tied it.
Yeah, they tied it.
So you're looking at they got 55 wins, 16 home games. They're going to win all those, I would assume. So 55, that's 71 right there. All they got to do is win 2 road games, and they're probably going to get the record.
So that's
I think they go undefeated at home. I do. I don't see it because the only tough team they have at home is San Antonio. They're going to beat them. The Spurs don't match up well with the Warriors. It's like a couple of years. The Spurs really don't match up well with the Thunder either. Those fast teams, they don't match up well against.
Or the Clippers, really.
Yeah, it's because they're fast. I'm telling you, the Spurs are good, but
Leonard's got to he's got to get up, man. I was watching TNT last night, and they said Leonard only has 2 30-point games this season.
Yeah, but he has like 20.
In the playoffs, I think he's going to have to be a lot more aggressive offensively.
Let me ask you this, guys. If you're come playoff time, if your Golden State Warriors would come second round, because potentially most of these, actually I think all 3 of these teams would make the second round without any trouble. Yeah. If you're the Warriors, would you rather see the Thunder in the second round or the Clippers?
The Clippers.
I'm
telling you, man.
I'd rather see. In all honesty, this is gonna sound crazy. I understand why Lance says. I'm gonna say
have no credibility, bro. I just can't.
I'm gonna say the Thunder, and it'll sound crazy. The Thunder probably of all the teams in the West have the best chance, just because of matchups. They're young,
on paper,
fast. But I'd rather just get rid of them in the second round in 5 or 6 games. They won't go.
Man, so
the Thunder aren't winning 3 games. The Thunder are going to they may beat them in 5. They own the Thunder right now.
God.
The Thunder are heartbroken right now. They own.
Okay. You gotta look at it like this, man. The last time they played, the Thunder had just got back on a back-to-back, man. I believe it was versus the Clippers where they had the heartbreaking loss.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, the best of 7. I'm not saying Oklahoma would win. I'm telling you, I'd rather play the Clippers, man. They ain't been there before. They ain't got dropped off at the Western Conference Finals yet. Daddy Pop hasn't got them there.
That's what scares me about the Clippers. Like I was listening to JJ Redick's podcast just today. They put it out Monday. No, and he had DeAndre Jordan on.
Yeah,
that team wants to get to the finals. They want to win really bad. And Oklahoma City's not as hungry as the Clippers. The Clippers are hungry. And I think that's why they've been able to win without Blake Griffin. They are hungry. They want to show that last year was bullshit.
I think
I would rather play the Thunder
to the Eastern or to the Western Conference Finals, depending on the matchups. Everybody's talking about the Spurs, of course, being there. Right. I think they're heavily favored to get to the Western Conference Finals, but we'll have to see kind of how the seedings play out come, playoff time.
I would say if the Clippers get the 3 seed, I think they take San Antonio out again in the second round. I'm going to call it right now. Call me stupid. I think you get that Golden State Clipper matchup then in the conference finals that we all wanted last year. Nobody wanted the Rockets and the Warriors because we knew the Rockets were bogus.
Yeah. Parker was really unhealthy last season too, though.
Who?
Parker. That's what really killed him was Parker's. I think it was his calf. It killed him.
I think the Clippers can beat them. It's just a good matchup. I don't know.
I mean, so obviously DeAndre Jordan, not a fan, but I know the Clippers are good. It's just right now they have no credibility. They're like the Raptors to me. I just don't trust them. I mean, I am surprised that they beat the Spurs in the fashion that they did. I mean, it was 7 games, but it was beautiful. I mean, although that was a push-off, the push-off floater that Chris Paul did. But anyways.
We know Michael Jordan pushed off when he hit the shot on Russell.
Yes, and trust me, I don't like that either. But the Clippers have the pieces, man, but they're like the Thunder in a way, dude. They melt down. And the crazy, you melted, what was it, 3-1 lead? Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, no, they were up 3. They were up 3-1. They lost in Houston. They went to L.A. They went back to L.A. up 3-2.
Yeah.
They were up big time and blew it because Josh Smith went nuts.
Yeah. So then the logic was to sign him.
Yeah, which will never happen again in the history of.
Okay. So will Jeff Green actually make a difference in the playoffs?
No.
For the Clippers is a thing.
No.
That's the X factor. I think would be him.
I would say Paul Pierce makes more of an impact than Jeff Green.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Paul Pierce is going to be surprisingly big for them.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be surprisingly. I mean, look what he did for the Wizards, and I thought he wouldn't be crap.
Yeah.
He made some big shots.
So here's the thing, though. If you're the Clippers, do you go forward with Paul Pierce or Jeff Green in the starting lineup? Come playoffs.
Oh, in the playoffs?
In the playoffs, I go Wesley Johnson for the athletic defense, and I bring Pierce coming off behind him.
So do you sit Jeff Green then?
No, you just give Jeff Green spot minutes as far as, situational matchups.
Okay, how about this last 2 minutes? What's your lineup for the Clippers?
To me, it would depend on who I'm playing against. If I'm playing against the Warriors, I'd probably use Jeff Green because the Warriors are going to go small. So I'd probably go Jeff Green at the 5. I'd go Jeff Green. I'd probably go Blake at the 5 because he'll be back.
Yeah, because you can't play DeAndre at that point.
Jordan against the Warriors in a small lineup down the stretch.
No.
Nothing against DeAndre. It has nothing to do with his foul shooting. It's just the matchups. I don't want DeAndre Jordan having to guard Draymond Green.
I'd rather Jeff
play
Griffin at the 5, Green,
at the
Pierce,
4,
Redick, and
Chris Paul. Yeah. Or depending on if Jamal Crawford is hot that game, I may put him in over Redick. If he's hot. If he's having the better game.
Yeah.
I should say. Whoever's having the better game between JJ and Crawford. If Crawford's going nuts, you got to put him out.
Yeah, he'll make you work, man. He still has some sick handles for a 35-year-old.
Yeah, and he'll hit big shots. He doesn't look like he's lost a step at all. Like, his numbers are down, but he doesn't look like he's lost.
Well, yeah, from the eye test, like, I look at him like, hey, it's the same guy from 3 years ago that makes 4-point plays. He just doesn't do them at a high percentage, really, anymore.
And he's still got that crazy handle. He's got some of the sickest handle in the league still. But you know what? I know Pete listened. I think Pete was listening. Did you listen to the J.J. Redick, the podcast, when he had Crawford on?
Yeah,
I did.
And he was like, and they were talking about Crawford his summer routine is just nothing but pickup game.
Yeah, and same with Nate Robinson, a bunch of guys, Terrence Williams, who play in the NBA. They all play the Seattle circuit, basically.
Yeah.
Or the Drew League. You got the Drew League, whatever.
They used to, in Houston we had Fondy Rec Center, and they always did a pro-am. All the dudes would come down and play, but man, they shut it down.
Well, because the owners, man, they don't like those things. They don't want them to get hurt.
Doing it. But my buddy, he runs his pro-am league. He had your boy Isaiah Cannon was playing in it.
Yeah, hey, he's actually looked better as the season's gone on, so I can't hate him all. But
he looked pretty. Yeah, I saw the stats here. He looked pretty good.
Stauskas can't stay healthy, so
is he hurt again?
In minutes. Yeah, he's hurt again. He's out tonight with the injury, and Hollis Thompson's basically starting for him. So Stauskas is going to end up being out of the league if he can't.
Yeah, he's done. I think Stauskas is involved.
The real question, guys, what do we think about the Clippers mascot?
Oh, man, the Condor.
He's got a helmet on.
They have a mascot?
Yeah, it's Chuck the Condor. Steve Ballmer, the owner, decided to display his athletic I guess you could say prowess, but I don't even want to embarrass myself
I gotta see it.
by saying that.
He has a helmet on his head. The
Yeah,
mascot. I know the bomber dunk you're talking about.
yeah, it was horrible.
Hey, I commend him for even trying it because he could have really hurt himself.
Yeah,
Oh wow!
You see the
What is
mascot?
that?
yeah.
What is that thing?
It's a
I'm telling
condor.
you, it's like a Barney character gone wrong.
That's
And the
terrible.
funny thing is the condor was popular. If you guys remember the show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, basically
Yeah.
Oh.
Carlton was the mascot. He was the
peacock
condor.
thing, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So that's kind of what they were basing it off of. I
Oh.
think.
I didn't know it had an origin. I just thought it was like something that's pretty cool though. But yeah, the mascot definitely isn't cool, but the idea of where they got it from is pretty cool. It's very silly.
I saw that. Was that a helmet on his head? You
Yeah,
said?
it's a helmet on his head.
What's he got a helmet for?
That's what everyone's saying. It's basketball. Why are you wearing a
You're
helmet?
a mascot. What do you need a helmet for?
Because they're going to be banging their heads on the ground when the Clippers choke again. That's why.
Well, naturally he doesn't wear the helmet, like as far as every day. Basically, he's a weird. I don't know. It's like pink and blue, and whoever the hell came up with that must have been high on shrooms or something.
Hey,
Cause
LA, man, don't put it past them. They might be getting high on some
That's
illegal weed over there.
Like California.
I mean, Steve Ballmer is the richest billionaire, around. So
You know what he's doing? Like I always giving the people what they want.
yeah.
The condor with helmet.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Helmet head condor.
Well, guys, I want to talk about a couple buyout updates. We all have seen the news. Chase Budinger got released from the Indiana Pacers
I didn't see that.
so they could sign Ty Lawson. Okay. Now, all jokes aside, Ty Lawson's had a bad, basically all the way back from the off season. Basically, he got DUIs. Then he goes to the Houston Rockets. Everybody kind of applauded that move, saying that the pick and roll, basically with Dwight Howard, he was going to resurrect kind of a down season last year in Denver. But Ty Lawson was awful in Houston. Basically, got outplayed by Jason Terry as a backup point. He goes to the Pacers, and I personally thought that Joseph Young was doing a good job, especially as a rookie, as a backup guard to George Hill. Do you guys see Ty Lawson making any kind of impact? And if so, what's that impact going to be?
I think he'll do something. I never thought the Harden and Lawson thing would work. I just didn't understand that. I believe they put Lawson off the bench after a while, right? Or did they keep on with the Harden Lawson combo? Is that how it went? Because I know in the beginning, because I thought they should have went with Beverly and Harden and let Lawson come off the bench, but they didn't. That's not how it started out, right?
Well, because Beverly was hurt, so then they had to play Lawson, and then Lawson ended up losing his playing time to Jason Terry. But it was basically for the most of the season Lawson coming off the bench.
Okay. So I mean, in that sense, I think they'll do fine, and I think Indiana has a much tighter group, and it definitely I think just a better organization as far as like leadership from top to bottom. I think him playing with Paul George, he'll benefit a lot more than him playing with
James Harden.
the sad sisters of Dwight Howard and James Harden. So I think he'll make an impact. But from what you said, he's not going to be able to play in the playoffs if they make it.
No.
Right, he's playoff ineligible.
So
that's why I think it would have been a good signing if he could play in the playoffs, but it's not.
At that point, what's the
he'll help him get some more wins. Because in all honesty, Joe Young is my guy, but he's not going to help him as much as Ty Lawson will.
Okay, so they're 7th or 6th right now, right? They're like 7th seed, I think.
5th.
They're 5th. See, look at that.
Oh, it's really close.
It is.
Like 3.
Pacers are 7th.
They're 7th, right? Yeah, that's what I looked at today. They're 7th, and 8 or 9 and 10. I think there's like 2 or 3 teams that are tied, like exact win-loss records.
Like 8 teams competing for the last 6 spots because
Right.
Toronto and Cleveland are in.
Because I really do think the Pacers will make it.
They'll put in.
I don't know how.
Basically, the Hawks at 5 only have a 2.5 game lead over the 9th and 10th teams in the East, which are the Bulls and the Wizards. They're tied.
Which are the two most? They don't make sense to be out of the playoffs right now. I know injuries and stuff. Who would have thought the Wizards would have slipped out this far? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the Wizards are making a run though, so. But
7-3 in their last 10.
If I'm the Pacers, though, I'm not signing a guy who can't help me in the playoffs, which you're probably going to make the playoffs. And you develop Joe Young, who can play. I mean, we saw.
Well, I guess Joe Young will be in the playoffs.
Team of the year against the Warriors, the best team in the league. He can play.
Yeah.
I just think that whole Houston thing was toxic, and him dealing with what he was dealing with, that was the number one team he shouldn't have gone to with his demons that he's working with, you know. That's just a wrong team to go to. It was a toxic situation.
I would much rather play for Frank Vogel than Bernie
Bickerstaff. Well, in all fairness, that's not Bernie's fault. He's just the captain on the ship right now, sinking.
Okay. In all honesty, I'd rather play for Frank Vogel than Kevin McHale. I'm not saying Kevin McHale's a bad coach, but I'd rather play for Frank Vogel.
I think Vogel gets more out of players like that.
Gets more out of his guys with what he's got.
Right. I think he'll help out. I mean, I don't see them slipping out of the playoffs.
Well, with the playoffs kind of in mind, another guy that is actually going to be playoff eligible once he signs with a team is shooting guard Kevin Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of had a down year with Minnesota, but he's coming off of last season averaging almost close to 20 points a game. So it's not like he doesn't have it. What team do you guys think that he would be able to help the most as far as going to the team to get them kind of an edge off the bench and make a difference come playoff time? You guys got any choices?
Okay, so I know he's already played with them before, and I'm not saying this is like where he should go, but what do we think about the Thunder? I mean, because we always talk about, they can't get anything out of these guards that they got, you know.
But you know what? The only thing with him going there is who's going to pass him the ball.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even remember his stint. I think he only was there for like a season, right?
I got two spots. The other two teams, San Antonio Spurs and the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and explain it, and I'll just rebuttal.
I mean, it's an obvious fit in San Antonio. You really don't.
Right.
He can be a San Antonio. With the Mavericks, though, he's a nice guy to back up Wesley Matthews.
And okay, so
scoring off the bench.
I kind of like it, but with the way that they play their small ball, and I know I don't always like Beret and Felton playing together. Felton, man, like he can make some plays, and I know this sounds crazy, but I don't want anyone taking minutes away from Felton. Because they'll play like Beret and Felton together.
Kevin Martin at the 3 then, and a small ball line as a backup.
I wouldn't mind it. I don't know if we should add any more people because I think David Lee's doing a really fine job.
That was a hell of a pickup.
I know, man. And this dude was just wasting his talent away on championship teams. I mean, of course, but I don't know. I think San Antonio would be would be better. I like Kevin Martin, but I don't know if the Mavs should do any more signings.
I'm gonna say Atlanta Hawks, and here's why. Because the Hawks with Kyle Korver, basically we all know, what is he, 34, 35.
Right.
They'd have a scorer off the bench that basically the only scorer they have right now is Dennis Schroeder, and I don't even think he's that great of a scorer. Kevin Martin basically can give you, 12 to 14 points off the bench easily. Now the Hawks aren't going to basically make waves come playoff time, but right now they're in the 5th seed. If they can stay in that 5th seed, they would potentially play either the Miami Heat or the Boston Celtics unless somebody just jumps up. That's actually a really good matchup for them. They did sign Chris Humphries for depth at the power forward spot because of the injury to Thiago Splitter. but basically Kevin Martin's going to give you more production than Lamar Patterson, who's a rookie off the bench, and he's able to play more minutes than Thabo Cephalosha or Tim Hardaway. So basically, he gives you that experience and that edge as a scorer. I really like that move if he goes to the Hawks. Now, I think the leading candidate, of course, is going to be the Spurs. Mm-hmm. Basically, they can let Rasul Butler go and then sign Kevin Martin, and that team's stacked at the 2 guard with Ginobili, Green, and Martin, and then you've got Kyle Anderson able to play minutes, and of course Kawhi Leonard.
So if he wants to win, he'll go to the Spurs, but if he just wants shots, he'll go to Atlanta or the Mavs.
Dallas than he will in Atlanta.
Okay.
It's interesting. I don't remember his Thunder stint all that long. I just remember him having sly comments about after he left them, and then he signed with like the Timberwolves. I'm like, yeah, dude, okay. You obviously don't want to win.
He wants to take shots.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it all depends on where he goes. But Pete definitely made a good case for the Hawks, though.
With we got a couple guys added in the chat. I just want to shout them out real quick. We got my man Orlando Till.
What up, Till?
We've got East Wicks Baller. He's a new chat room participant, and we've got my man Alex Campbell in there. Got a little bit of chatter about the buyouts. We've got Chase Budinger, Alex Campbell saying that he'd be a good fit in Dallas. Meek, I agree with you. I think that him coming off the bench in Dallas would be good, but the rumor is that Phoenix is looking at him pretty hard to come there. He would not be playoff eligible either. So.
What are they going to do? Devin Booker on the bench?
Hey, no, I mean
Devin Booker, 34 points.
I don't understand it, but
you're high.
Basically maybe he could be kind of looking at next season to kind of help himself out for a job, or I'm not really sure what the logic is there other than trying to showcase himself. With Phoenix, basically you're going to get all the minutes you can handle.
Place who'll get the most shots.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's kind of the logic behind that, I think.
Right.
But
he just wants to stay in the league at this point, I'm guessing. So I mean, anywhere pretty much would be good for him.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much all the buyouts as far as who's left. The Houston Rockets kind of made a little noise with signing Mike Beasley, who basically we all know is kind of a troubled soul, so to speak, but he can put up points. Yeah, he's coming off a China MVP season.
Oh, my God.
Basically, he's going to get minutes for the Rockets because Terrence Jones is injured right now. And Donatas Motiejunas actually caused some waves recently because he failed his physical according to Detroit, and then a week later he's playing 20 minutes a game for the Rockets. So kind of makes Detroit look bad. Or Houston look worse. Either way you want to look at it. Also going to the Rockets, former Laker point guard / shooting guard, the mini Mamba, Andrew Godalak. So he is a lethal 3-point shooter.
Mini Mamba.
He actually came out of college at Charleston, but he played at Stone Mountain High School here in Georgia and lit it up. So
Pete, can I just say this real quick? So, are the Rockets going to go after Andrew Bynum too? Or
hey,
Bynum, the League of Misfits. That's the Rockets right now. The League of Misfits.
They asked. A reporter asked Andrew Bynum, I think it was the end of last week, if he had any interest in playing in the NBA, and he said, "Well, you never know what will happen. If Andrew Bynum makes it back in the league, I just have to stop watching basketball. I don't know how in the hell that's going to happen after he screwed my Sixers over for
the most important thing he did, the coolest, or not even the coolest thing, the most relevant thing he did with Philly is change his haircut every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, but he screwed it.
I feel so sorry. I know. I feel sorry for Doug Collins, man. They screwed him over with that trade, man.
Yeah. Well, with the Alex Campbell saying the Rockets have a GM who just signs names without considering chemistry. What do you
That's
guys think?
exactly what he does.
Yeah, man, it's 2K logic.
Daryl Morey.
He puts
Basically,
the
they're
the
going for
chemistry
points
side
on
of
the
it.
offensive end to give up, points. Basically, a hell of a lot of points on the defensive end because you got a turnstile in James Harden, and you're not gonna defend guys with Donatas Motiejunas. So
No.
I don't see the Rockets being a defensive force. Hopefully, with Guadalajara and Beasley, they can outscore.
Will they miss the playoffs, though? Will they miss, or you think they'll stay? Because the Jazz, man, the Jazz are fighting.
I think the Rockets missed the playoffs.
Yeah?
I have to agree with that. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they come in as a 9 seed and the Rockets squeak in there.
Ooh.
Or the Jazz squeak in there over the Rockets.
Do you remember when the player said James Harden was the real MVP? You remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Well,
Who's the real MVP now?
yeah, I know. Basically, you got Dwight Howard, who, yes, he doesn't ever want to stay on a team, but when you want to go to the damn Milwaukee Bucks over playing with James Harden on the Rockets, I mean, that's pretty damn bad.
They got some young
Nobody
talent,
says
though.
they want to go to the Milwaukee Bucks.
The Bucks have potential. I don't know what happened this year. They have potential.
Could you imagine, basically, if Milwaukee had pulled the trigger on the trade of Greg Monroe for Dwight Howard, how bad Houston would be? I mean, they would have no defender. Basically, the hole would be wide open the entire game.
I don't blame them for not making that trade. Hell, I'd rather just let them walk without getting anything than have to pay for Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least with that roster. I'm not saying he's bad, but with that roster, it doesn't make sense. 'Cause, I mean, I think his rebounding and stuff, it's just defensively.
Hey, what about this? Did you see the rumored trade with the Celtics and the Bulls?
No, I didn't. What
It
was
was Jimmy Butler for the Nets pick, and
it? Oh yeah, I did see that.
What?
Yeah,
I'm glad the Celtics didn't pull on that.
Yeah.
that was a good trade for the Celtics. If all you had to do was give up 2 picks.
Man, I'd give that to get Cousins before I'd do that for Butler.
Yeah,
If I'm the Bulls, I would have demanded for Jimmy Butler. I would have had to have, or if I'm the Bulls, I would have demanded to get Crowder and Isaiah Thomas back. You can have Jimmy Butler.
Oh, let's not dump on Jimmy Butler like we were a couple weeks ago.
No, we're gonna dump on Jimmy Butler. No. Here's why. No, here's why. Because like I said, this is what I'm saying. We know the Bulls front office. We know that Hoiberg is Garpax's boy. They love him. He's going nowhere. So now you got Jimmy Butler. Doesn't fit in the system that Hoiberg wants to run, right? So it's going to end badly. At some point next year, you either fire Hoiberg or you trade Jimmy. It's going to end bad.
You're gonna have to fire sell at that point, man. If you trade him, then that's rebuilding time. That's when
Alex Campbell saying Jimmy Butler is the perfect 2 guard for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
You know what though? That makes
another
sense.
Isolation player for the Thunder.
No, hey, but defensively, oh my goodness, that would take so much pressure off of them.
Jimmy would be so mad because he'd never get shots though. He'd go from the 1 option to the 3 option.
Well, obviously, I don't think it wouldn't be able him, Durant and Westbrook. I mean, one of them's got to go, and I think it would be. I think.
You know what? How about this?
I think Westbrook would have to go.
And here comes my shocker.
Uh-oh.
As I mentioned earlier, Jimmy Butler in a sign and trade for Kevin Durant. If you know you're going to lose Durant, do you
I would
take
take
Butler back?
Yeah.
There you go. Kevin Durant to the Chicago Bulls.
I would take that.
Play with a broken point guard. It's one thing for your shot to be broken like Westbrook, but Rose is actually broken. I don't even know if I would want to go to that.
I would go to it just for the fact that you're going to get you'll get some pieces around him. I mean, Gasol's basically going to be a free agent. If you knew that basically you're going to, if you're OKC that you're going to lose Durant, you get Jimmy Butler back. Because basically defensively, Westbrook, marginal, I would say above marginal as far as a defender if he's locked in. He can score in bunches. Jimmy Butler can defend your best player. You've still got pieces with Cantor, and then Ibaka if he decides to have, a decent season.
And you got Steven Adams, you got Cameron Payne.
What about that McCrary dude? What's up with him? I know he was.
McGarry.
Yeah, what's he doing?
He's good. He's
That's what I'm
actually
saying.
Buried.
I haven't seen him play.
He's gonna do well.
I haven't seen him play a lot. Anyways, I haven't seen him play the last 2-3 games.
He can score. He can
Yeah,
score.
I saw him in preseason and summer league. That stuck out to me with his scoring.
If you're Chicago, you've got to figure out. Absolutely no doubt about it. You've got to figure out what you're going to do. Either Derrick Rose goes in the offseason or Jimmy Butler goes in the offseason. You can't go into another year with Hoiberg as the coach with those two players.
At this point, you can't get anything. Well, even with an expiring contract, I think he's hard to trade in the offseason. But I think Derrick Rose, amazingly, is a more willing passer than Russell Westbrook, from what I've seen.
Yes, I agree with that.
I actually think he could play with Kevin. And Kevin Durant fits way better in the Hoiberg system.
Absolutely.
And then you get Doug McDermott coming off the bench. You got Nico.
He's got to get away from playing Doug McDermott at the 4, though. It's not working.
No. He kind of has no choice right now.
They do that?
Yeah.
They must get tore up doing that.
Now, Gibson's been injured, and Bobby Portis has kind of taken a step back from where he was, earlier in the season. But with Mirotic injured, I understand the need to play him at the 4. But when you're starting Cameron Bairstow, I mean that's not giving me a lot of confidence for Chicago to make the playoffs.
No.
I know injuries are there. Matt, I know this is kind of your territory, so I'm gonna let you kind of give more analysis than I can on Chicago. But basically, Aaron Brooks kind of quit on the team the other night. Not that he's I think we all just have what he's saying for Aaron Brooks.
What do you mean he quit on the team?
Basically, you could see where it was like no effort whatsoever. He's doing exactly what he always does: drives in the lane, takes some horrible ass floater, in the middle of a run. He does it every time.
Yeah,
and
he does.
Defensively, he's just standing there, watching the player go by him, like no effort. It's like
he is the worst defender in the NBA. Because not only does he suck on defense, he gives no effort.
Right.
At least, a guy like Doug McDermott, he sucks on defense, but he gives you 100% effort every time.
Right.
J.J. Redick used to suck on defense, but he always gave you effort.
Right. It's one thing to try and not to try, honestly. Some people are just incapable of playing defense, but if you try, at least you can see effort.
Exactly.
What
learn
about,
to be a true defensive player.
We've got Orlando Till in the chat. Orlando, clarify for me if you can, but I'm thinking you're saying Bradley Beal would be a better fit for the Thunder than Jimmy Butler, but I'm not sure if you're talking about Bradley Beal to the Bulls or Bradley Beal to the Thunder. And Alex Campbell saying that Rose is mentally broken because he hasn't dunked in a game in years, and apparently he still can, but that's saying a lot to him, saying that basically just that swagger is not there for Derrick Rose. So mentally, is he able to carry that team another season if he's back?
Okay. So I'll say this. I make jokes about Rose, but I have recently said that he is better than what people give him credit for. He's just not the same MVP flash, but he still looks good.
Yes.
Like he's doing like reverse layups and stuff. He's just not doing dunks, so it's fine.
He's blowing by his defenders like he used to do. He's just exploding. And I said this the other day, and I'm not saying he can't do it. His explosion off the dribble is still there, like it always was. It's his explosion off the bounce, which I haven't seen so much. And honestly, maybe it's because, like you said, he doesn't want to go dunk and stuff. No. But his explosion off the dribble is still there. You see it with those bursts of speed.
You shouldn't put any pressure for him to carry a team, though, at this point in his career.
No.
I still think he's got to be the second option.
And he's got to be the third option.
Ooh, man.
Well, with Bradley Beal, if he was to somehow, just in a kind of a weird scenario, I guess, if Bradley Beal was to go in free agency, say Chicago gets they clear out.
Is he
Jimmy
unrestricted?
Butler, he ends up.
Is he unrestricted?
No, he'll be free agent.
No, he's restricted. But with
Chicago
Bradley Beal,
pay, huh?
with that fibula injury, because basically he was borderline stress reaction. So they've been bringing him off the bench in Washington.
Right.
Is he a good fit for either I don't necessarily think he fits as well in Oklahoma City as he would in Chicago.
Well, so with Oklahoma, they haven't even been running the offense that Donovan is known for, right? It's like a spread offense, pick and roll type thing. I mean,
But Billy Donovan knows him from his Florida days, so does
right.
that make a difference?
So there we go. That's what I'm saying. Maybe when they actually start running some type of offense in Oklahoma, maybe. But I mean,
So if you're OKC and you have to, you're losing Durant, do you trade for Bradley Beal? Say you get like a Kelly Oubre or Otto Porter, one of those two, and another piece in there. Is that enough for somebody like losing Durant?
Okay, so with them, with Chicago, I was fine with what we had. What, 2 players and a prospect or a draft pick? But Washington, they got to give up a lot more because I mean, with Beal, he has had a lot of injuries and he's still technically not a proven player to me. I mean, we know he's good, but I mean, they got to give up. I think they got to give up multiple draft picks along with obviously Beal. I'm sorry. I think they got to give up multiple draft picks.
See, I would want Beal, either Porter or Oubre,
right,
in a draft pick at least as a starting discussion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to have to end up giving multiple ones, though, even
Bulls,
if you're just protecting.
The Thunder would take Jimmy Butler straight up for Kevin Durant if you know he's going to leave.
Right.
Right.
Because, I mean, he's still – I mean, this dude is defensively, man. Butler, I mean –
because in all actuality, if you're OKC and you're looking at Jimmy Butler for Kevin Durant, you can plug Jimmy Butler into the 3 instead of playing the 2, and then you have Cameron Payne, Russell Westbrook, and then Andre Roberson. Yes, he sucks on offense, but his defense there.
Yeah, he hustles.
But Roberson and Jimmy Butler defensively, I mean that's pretty damn good in the Western Conference. I mean
here's the Thunder's
tough.
problem. Yeah, they'll get out
and any more than that.
They should have never let Sefolosha go.
I would say that, but then Sefolosha, I think the problem with him was they weren't getting a lot of offense for his, being at his age. So then they had Roberson kind of there, and they could get, a younger version of Sefolosha in Roberson. So
I guess so.
Well, I wanted to talk about kind of the playoff race. We kind of covered it a little bit of it already. Basically, you've got on the outside looking in right now, you've got the Wizards and Bulls, and I would say maybe with a miracle, the Orlando Magic could kind of sneak up in there if they get some wins.
I want to see them in the playoffs, man.
Yeah, I mean you've got the Pistons, Pacers, Hornets, and Hawks from the 5th seed to the 8th seed, kind of all clumped together. How do you guys see in that scenario play out of Washington, Chicago, Detroit, Indiana, and Charlotte? Which of those 3 make the playoffs out of those 5?
Ooh, I think Charlotte's out. I don't think they're going to make it. I think Indiana. I think they'll get in.
Yeah.
The Bulls, if they can get healthy the last 20 ball games, Jimmy's coming back. But if they can be relatively healthy, I think they'll get in. They're good enough, And then I want to see Detroit. I think Detroit would be the other one. Because Stan has done an outstanding job with that basketball team. I'd like to see them get in because they're good. They're a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 3 I think. If the Bulls don't stay healthy, then I think call me crazy, but I think Washington gets it.
I don't even think that's crazy, man. I mean, honestly, all those teams. I mean, especially the Bulls and the Wizards. Like, I know there's been injuries, but goodness, I never would have envisioned them slipping out. Like, I knew the Bulls would be probably like. Once Tibbs left, I was like, they'll probably be like 5th or 6th in the East. They're not even in the playoff picture. Like if the playoffs started today, that just amazes me, man. Hey,
I think
I
Washington sneaks in.
It's the injuries again.
yeah. But even before that, though, I mean, they looked really bad.
They did, but they would have still been a playoff team.
Right.
And with
But
all
they're a lot worse than I thought they'd be.
they would have been probably like 4 or 5. I mean, but even so, with all the injuries, if I'm not mistaken, I think 5 games separate the Bulls from the Celtics, who are in third.
And that's the biggest surprise. That's the biggest surprise. I knew they'd be a playoff team, but goodness.
6 games.
It's 6.
6
okay.
games separate the 10th seed and the 3rd seed.
Yeah, that's insane.
So if the Bulls do make it and get an 8th seed, how many games do you think they'd win against Cleveland?
I think it goes 6 or 7. Cleveland and Toronto want nothing to do with Chicago.
See, don't we want? That's what I'm saying. Like, I
That's
know
the one team they don't want to play.
I know that I have things I say about the Bulls, but man, like them being out of the playoffs, that's gonna really suck for the fans. Because I mean, their roster on paper, it looks good. I'm just not panning out how I think they'd make some noise. I didn't think you would say 6 or 7 games. I definitely think it'd be more like the Boston Cleveland series where they're close, but they're not necessarily winning. I think it'd go 5. But I think the games would be close though.
When healthy, if the Bulls are 100% healthy come playoff time, they can beat Cleveland or Toronto. I won't say they will, but they can beat them.
Does Toronto get out of the first round though?
Depending on who the matchup is.
Oh man, absolutely.
No, I think the Bulls beat Toronto.
Who would they be playing right now if the playoffs started?
If they played right now, it would be the Pacers against the Raptors, and I think the Raptors beat the Pacers.
Yeah.
Okay, I could.
So they get out of the first round. Then you would have.
In their freaking. No, I'm just fine. They've been out before, but it's been a while.
I think that Charlotte makes the playoffs. I think they end up being the 7th seed. I think the Pacers jump up to the 6th seed. Then I think that the Washington Wizards sneak in over the Detroit Pistons.
Ooh.
Mm.
And then Chicago's out. I think the injury is too much.
But Chicago and Detroit are out.
Man, Chicago better not be out, man.
And the only reason is because I think there's too much time lost with injuries for them.
Yeah.
They're all close though, man. So anything can happen in that East, man. That race is crazy.
Situation, I would want both Washington and Chicago to make the playoffs along with Detroit.
Right.
And I would want to see the Hornets drop and the Pacers drop out. But, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be tough because the Hornets are 8-2 in their last 10.
The Hornets are playing a lot well. They're a lot better offensively than we would have thought they'd be.
Absolutely.
And I like Batum, man. Batum, I like watching him play.
Yep.
And Kemba Walker. Say what you want about Kemba Walker, but this dude, he makes some big-time plays, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's shooting is accurate, though.
I think with the Western Conference, I think things are pretty much a little bit more clear.
Right.
You've got basically your top 5 are, of course, Golden State, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, and the Clippers. They're your top 4. They're automatic.
I think Memphis.
Then you've got
Memphis has too many wins to fall out. I think they're a lot.
Dude,
yeah,
and it's crazy because they have no Gasol.
But
I don't want them in.
But remember when Gasol went down,
man.
They were like 31-21 when he went down.
Right.
I didn't realize they had so many wins.
Yeah, they were 10 games above 500 a couple games ago, I think.
Yeah, when he went down, they were 10 above. So yeah, they get in. They have too many wins.
Dude, but that's gonna be one whoever plays them, it's gonna be boring. That game, it's gonna be over in 5.
Well, they'll end up probably. I think they'll get 5th seed.
I'm worried because basically the Grizzlies with their injuries are 36-24, and then you've got kind of basically a 4-man race as it stands right now. Maybe you could maybe say 5. I don't even consider basically the
That's 6th, 7th, 8th spot.
Yeah. You've got the Mavericks at 6 at 33-29.
I don't want to be there.
They're tied with Portland basically for the same record, but they have the advantage over Portland. And then you've got the Rockets at 1 game under 500 at 30-31.
The Jazz. Man. I want to see them in.
Behind them at 28-32, and then the Kings behind them at 25-35. I mean, that's pretty pitiful that right now the Denver Nuggets at 24-37, the Sacramento Kings and the Utah Jazz have a outside shot at getting to the A seed in the West. That tells you the difference this year between conferences and just, I guess, how bad the Rockets are, because everybody kind of, I know I had Portland out of the playoffs as one of the worst teams, this season, and they've far exceeded expectations.
Coach of the year, I swear if he doesn't get it, it's a mockery.
Him or Brad Stevens, one of those two has to get it. I'd say give him co-coach of the year.
Yeah, but I mean, he lost 4 starters though. How do you not give the man coach of the year? I definitely Brad Stevens, because I didn't see them being this good, but I knew they'd be a playoff team. But
Portland, we thought was going to be one of the worst teams in the entire league.
And I also thought Lillard's numbers were going to be worse, but there's actually because he was going to have to do more, and I think his percentages were going to go down. But man, like,
he's having the best season of his career.
Right. I think, like I said, I think he's averaging a career high in assists. I don't know about points, but I think his percentages are pretty good from what I remember.
Career high. He's at about 25 a game.
And then what's his name has to get McCollum or whatever. He has to get improved player.
Oh, he'll get most improved.
People were saying Curry, but no, don't.
Scoring gets most improved.
So if Portland stays at 7. Portland would end up playing San Antonio in the first round.
And lose.
Well, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
But that puts OKC against the Mavericks.
Yeah. I don't want to see that. I want us to somehow get the 5th seed because, man.
You'd rather. But,
Durant kills us. Ever since 11. Oh, my God. Huh?
City could finish 4.
They could. And then OKC playing Memphis, and then Dallas would have to play the Clippers.
And that's I know it sounds crazy, but that's the matchup I kind of want.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, plus it would sell so much tickets, and it would be great for TV too, honestly.
Yeah.
Man, that sells itself right there. It's just, man, Durant and Westbrook would clean us up.
Hey, but you know what could happen? Dallas, OKC, Dallas with the upset. Durant's like, wait a second, I'm going to go to Dallas now.
Bro, you're just trying to make me giddy over here. Whole night you've been trying to feed my head with these dreams.
It's possible.
Anything's possible.
I bet this time in 2010, if I would have said the same thing to a Miami Heat fan, LeBron and Bosh to Miami, they would have said the same thing as you.
Pat Riley is a genius.
Watch out for them in free agency, though.
Yeah, because that's
Whiteside, I think they'd sign and trade him.
Yeah. No state taxes, beautiful women, beach, great atmosphere. I mean,
it doesn't get cold.
Why would you? Well, the only thing is I don't like hurricanes and crap, so I'm not going there. But hey,
what would you guys say is your surprise team come playoff time? I know it's early, basically got another month of the season left.
As far as like who's going to make the most noise?
As basically who? Let me rephrase. Who would be your upset candidate?
You guys, I'm going with the Los Angeles Clippers to get to the conference finals.
Woo!
I'm gonna say it. It's crazy. I know we hate on them all the time with Czar, and I've hated on them too. But
I don't hate on them. I just
the Clippers.
I just reacted how they do.
But that's only if. I got to preface it, if the Clippers can get to 3rd, because they're not going to beat the Warriors in the 2nd round. But if it's a Clippers-Spur matchup, then I'm going to say the Clippers. Other than that, in the West, it's going to go as we expect.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be pretty boring. If you want to say the Thunder, that's disrespectful to them. But the way it is right now, it's almost like a 2-man race to the West.
East, I'm going with my Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, you did say 6 or 7 games.
I'm going with the Bulls though. Whoever they play in the first round, I'm calling it. The Bulls are pulling the upset. They're going to win. I'm banking on the fact they're healthy. I'm calling it now.
So would it
the first round upset?
Would it really be an upset if the Raptors lose in the first round again to
the Bulls? Well, the Bulls could get 8. Imagine if the Bulls beat Cleveland in the first round.
LeBron's gonna cry.
LeBron's going back to Miami to play with Wade.
All those cryptic tweets.
Yeah. That's right.
I think my big upset in the Eastern Conference, I think the Boston Celtics lose in the first round.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And for the Western Conference, depending on where the seeds are, just say hypothetically right now, I think that if it stays true to form and OKC plays Dallas first round, I think Dallas upsets OKC.
Yo, y'all gotta stop this, man.
Yo, yes,
Get me too happy.
I'm kind of with you on that one.
Dude, look, man, I couldn't even watch the Dallas Mavericks fourth quarter last night, man. I was so irritated. If that happens, oh my God, that's just gonna open up a can of worms that I don't even know if we want to open up right now.
When the Mavericks beat the Thunder in the first round, then what? That's not.
I think Durant would really come here. I honestly do.
That's a clear cut. Basically from there, it's
open season.
It sets the matchup for the Clippers to play the Spurs, and then the Warriors to play. It'd be the Warriors in Dallas, I think.
And then
right?
we would just die. We would just get swept from there. That's. Hey, but beating the Thunder in the first round would be music to my ears because we haven't won a playoff freaking series since 2011.
That'd be like almost winning a championship.
It would be because we haven't won a playoff. I mean,
so I got to be careful because I picked the Mavericks over the Rockets last year.
I did. Well, I had them winning more games than the Rockets. I lost $50 on that. So I'm just trying to stay away from being too positive with the Mavs right now. I'm trying to stay low key, and y'all are trying to big my head up right now.
I want to see Dirk turn into Dirk have just a renaissance in the playoffs.
He's like Dirk, how he was doing Carlson and Ibaka back in 2011.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say by surprise, and everybody's probably gonna dump on me for this, but I'm gonna say Eastern Conference Finals. It's gonna be the Miami Heat and Cleveland Cavaliers.
That's not crazy. Although, dude, without Bosh, I just can't take Miami serious anymore.
Bulls and the Raptors.
Man,
Bulls and the Raptors.
Dude.
All right, you got me beat.
That is pretty bad. The Eastern Conference blew all steam when they did that. If that happens, ratings gonna be so low.
Upset, we get a Bulls Warriors final. Yes.
Ew.
God,
no.
The Warriors winning in 4 games.
I'd rather the Hawks go.
Wouldn't that be something though? The Warriors break the Bulls record, right?
That would be the easiest championship they could have ever asked for.
Wouldn't that be something? The Warriors get the 73-74 wins, they break the Bulls record, then they beat them in the finals.
Ain't gonna happen.
Man, okay, now this is Final Fantasy, guys. We're just.
Right. This is just the fan in me coming out.
If we were on the show with Czar right now, he would have already muted you.
us. This is what happens when you simulate in 2K16.
Absolutely.
Hey, I got to give the people what they want. We got to give them some, we got to give them something to talk about. I did pick Karl Anthony Towns to win the skills challenge. All right,
guys. On that note, this is gonna be our last show, guys. I'm sorry. No.
Well, actually, speaking of the show, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, guys. But I wanted to go to each of you and see, basically, give you an open forum. Anything you want to talk about, anything you want to bring up. It doesn't necessarily have to be NBA related, so to speak. Just go with whatever you got topic wise.
I got one thing. I'm gonna keep it short and simple. We got baseball spring training. Go Cubs. Let's get in the World Series. Let's break the curse this year.
Well, good luck on that, Matt. But I just gotta say this. When did fans start being so uptight at basketball games? No one wants to boo anymore. No one wants to yell anymore. I went to a Mavs game.
You know why? Because everybody's a fan of other players around the league. I think. We're the Warriors. I don't think anybody really boos the Warriors. Everybody likes who hates Stephen Curry?
No, but I mean, I was at the Mavs game. They were playing the Magic.
Legend, Oscar Robertson, and.
Oh man, we gotta finish on that.
Why do we gotta give this guy some?
That really pisses me off.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of bad.
Because he did and I read an article by J.A. Adonde, and he basically said it's not that And we know Oscar always, when Michael was coming, Oscar had something to say. When LeBron, Oscar's always got something to say. And J.A. Adondi was basically pointing out, you hear all these guys throughout the history, nobody ever talks about Oscar Robertson's story. Like, everybody knows he was great, but they don't really put him, they don't really talk about him. And I think he's always felt slighted.
We played in the league where there was only
Jordan's story. We talk about LeBron James's story. We talk about Jerry West's story.
There was only 9 teams, right, when he was in the league?
But still, I think he feels, we talk about Bill Russell's story. We talk about Will.
Yeah, that is true.
Nobody talks about Oscar Robertson, and I think he's salty about it.
It's well, we know what? We do say he's the original triple-double. I always say that about him. He was original.
9 teams.
He's a original triple-double guy.
Which he would never do in today's NBA.
I'm not going to go that far because it's hard to make comparisons, especially from that generation. But look, we need to stop being so uptight. People spend great money.
Yes.
Do more than be on your phones. Have some energy. I don't cuss because, there's usually kids around. But I will boo and I will yell, or I'll do the occasional, come on, get back on the blah, blah, blah. But it's just, there's no energy. I remember when it was fun to go to Mavs games. It's not fun anymore. I'd rather watch it from my house.
We would all speak differently. If we went to a Golden State Warriors game, I think we'd speak differently.
You know what? I don't even like hockey.
Kings game.
I don't even like hockey, but I will go to a hockey game just so I can feel the energy. They're so into it, enthusiastic.
When I went to that Bulls-Warriors game in January, there was a guy behind me, and I could hear him, and he's like, man, this crowd sucks.
Yeah, I say that out loud, man, because people will look at you and I'm like, what are you looking at? I just spent $60 on these tickets. I'm not cussing and I'm not acting crazy, but come on, man, where's the love?
Yeah, guys, you got people spilling food on their damn cell phones, like you said, sending text messages.
What happened to defense? Like the DJ saying defense and no one saying anything. I'm like,
Well, it could be worse. You could go to the Atlanta Hawks games where they have no enthusiasm when it comes playoff time. Basically,
or they're wearing other teams' jerseys.
Exactly.
That's the worst part is when you see a lot of teams. Like when that Heat series happened and I went to one of the watching parties, oh no. We booed the Heat fans, man. There wasn't that many of them, but there was still some sprinkled across the arena. We booed them.
Well, I ended up with getting tickets from a friend of mine. She was nice enough. Her and her husband are season ticket owners, and basically, literally 2 rows back from the Hawks bench.
Nice.
So I'm going to the Hawks versus Bucks game on the 25th. My wife and I are going.
That's gonna be fun. No matter the score, seeing Greek Freak in person is amazing.
Yeah, that close. I mean, you can't get any better than that.
I saw him live too, man. He really is big. Even Jabari Parker looks pretty big, man.
I'm interested. I'm going to the Bulls-Knicks game on the 23rd.
Man, that's some
game. Yeah, I had to. I'm interested in how big Porzingis is, like just his physical. How tall he is. Because I'm going to be like 9 rows behind the bench, I think, of the Bulls.
That's not bad, though, dude.
Yeah. It's an ESPN game, too, so maybe I'll get a little FaceTime on TV.
Uh-oh.
Well, I hope y'all have fun, man. Those sound like some fun games, man. And
the Warriors game was fun. Even though the Bulls got smacked, it was a fun game.
You get to see Curry live? Crap.
Absolutely.
Tickets were the lowest ticket, and it was like literally the highest seats you could get.
Mm-hmm.
It was I think it was $181.
Damn.
I'm telling you, bro. I'd rather watch from home.
And for up top, man, I paid in the Bulls game, and we were in the first tier. Like, we were in the first tier. We paid $245, I think, for each seat.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in the first tier, though.
Yeah, but that's crazy though, because everything. With the Warriors, obviously, their big run, it's just jacking the ticket prices.
Hey, man, SeatGeek.com. I know they're not sponsoring us, but that's what I use. Yeah. SeatGeek. I don't go through the venues because, man, they'll overcharge you. SeatGeek.com.
If you want $20 off your seat, use the code JJ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I will, because that's what I've been looking on. Because, the Warriors, I don't know if we're going over there, if they're coming over here again, but the Mavs are playing.
Going to Dallas. I think they're. Are you going to that game?
I don't know. I don't believe in paying them much for nosebleed, man. Even if it's to watch Curry.
How much would it cost for you to get in toward the upper section of Tier 1?
Nah, dude, I'm not even gonna. I think it's like $200 something, dude. Like 300 for the Warriors. I bet it's like 200 or 150.
Yeah, I paid 240. It was 245 for us. We got 4 seats, 245 each in tier 1.
Man, that stuff is so expensive, man. I just don't. Like it's cool in theory, but I just don't believe in paying. I mean, if you got it, then shoot, man. But I just happened to find a really good deal. $40 for like section 110 or something. So you know, like the kind of behind the goal, almost close to where they come out of the locker rooms or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in that area, and I spent like $45 to go see the Magic, which have some young talent.
That's good price to go see. That's about where I was for in that tier 1, right by the tunnel.
Yeah.
The Warriors game. Those are good seats too.
That's Seat Geek, bro. That's just all Seat Geek right there, man. Because I don't think
that's what I need to start doing. Seat Geek.
Yeah, SeatGeek.com. I'm telling you, I'm plugging them like they're paying us, but they're not paying us at all. It's a good site.
Check it out, and we can get the little logo in the corner of our screen.
Yeah, man. There we go. Oh, man. Woo. Man, that'll be the day.
We need to hit up JJ and see if we can get sponsored by SeatGeek.
Nice. Well, guys, real quick before we end out, I want to give a shout out to everybody that was in the chat room. We had Julian Lomenzo 94, Sam I Am, East Wicks Bala, Alex Campbell, Orlando Till, and looks like Cheryl Ivy.
Okay, all right. We should try to get maybe Till on or something one day.
Yeah, we can do that.
Till comes on a lot. Like he'll be in the chat a good amount, or I'll see him sometimes in the comment section.
Orlando, hit me up on Twitter if you're still watching, man. We'll get you on the show coming up. I guess one thing I want to close out with is the Cleveland Cavaliers, and kind of just touching on you know, kind of the state of the Cavs going forward come playoff time. I think with LeBron, he kind of brushed off Tyronn Lue, not really wanting to come out of the game. Do you think with the rumored basically controversy of Kyrie Irving saying he wants out, LeBron going back to Miami to kind of hang out with Dwayne Wade, and then Kevin Love sitting out tonight after already resting 2 games. Do you think all that is just basically just drama, or do you think it's something that's big enough to affect them come playoff time where they might kind of slip and another team kind of take that Eastern Conference crown?
Okay, so I guess what they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I think there's some, I guess, weight to this, but I just... Like, it's just so hard, man, because with LeBron-led teams, there's always some type of controversy. You know, like when he shoulder bumped, what's his name, Spoelstra, you know, things like that. People butt heads.
Mavericks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. I think they'll be fine, man, but sooner or later, man, they're just going to have to get this stuff figured out, man. They're going to have like a players-only meeting or something, because just because you don't like each other doesn't mean you have to be bad. Like, because a lot of, I think it was Shaq that said you don't have to like each other to play well together. Talking about the Kevin Love and LeBron thing, because obviously they're not the greatest of buds, but y'all are all playing for a common goal, man. And they're just gonna have to get it together and act like grown men and be professional. And especially with what they did with Blatt, LeBron does not need to be doing Tyronn Lue like that. Especially they gave him a multi-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, come on, man. Like,
Matt, I think you touched on it earlier. You had Chicago. So I know what your answer is about.
Yeah, that's who can take. I think that's the only team who can beat them. But like I said, they have to be healthy. They have to be 100% healthy to beat them. And I think they can take them out in 6.
If that happens,
you know what the problem is? And I'm convinced. I'm serious. I'm convinced. Kyrie Irving does not want to win, and Kevin Love does not want to win.
Ooh.
These 2 guys. I mean, what was the report? Kyrie Irving's upset because LeBron is too demanding of a leader. Like, damn, I thought you want to win a championship. What do you want? It's not kumbaya.
Yeah.
Let's play, win a championship.
Right. Play with Jordan and get slapped like Kerr did. You know.
Yeah. He knocked Kerr's ass out because he wasn't going hard in practice.
And he apologized.
LeBron is a tough leader? Okay.
I know. I'm telling you, man.
Kyrie never played with Kobe Bryant.
Cheryl in the chat saying that the Cavs are all egomaniacs. It's all about their brand versus the team concept.
Might have a point there.
Yeah, yeah. Look at LeBron. He can't. I mean, he doesn't respect. What coach has he ever respected? Honestly.
Yeah.
He didn't respect Eric Spoelstra. He respected Pat Riley.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as he shoulder bumped Spoelstra, I knew something. Because you don't ever see that.
I watched. They showed it. It was purposely.
Yeah, but they didn't want to. I don't think the media said anything at the time about it. But
no, I noticed it when it first happened live. As he was, I'm like, holy shit, he just bumped Spo.
Right. At first, I thought it was Wade, but I was like, there's no way that's Wade doing that.
No,
because I don't like
Wade played for him.
Yeah.
A couple years, or the year before.
Yeah, man. But I think it's also because LeBron asked for this. LeBron asked for this roster pretty much.
So, dare I say they should have kept Andrew Wiggins?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
I said that before all this happened. I was like, you're risking the future. Like, worst case scenario, LeBron leaves, but guess what?
Still got
Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
Matt, it seems like, I guess Cheryl shotting you out in the glad to see a female viewer in there. I know Raven is one of our Sim Nation cohort, so to speak. We need to get her on coming up. So
we are equal opportunists, guys.
You got to be PC, right, Lance?
We are PC. No, seriously, I am. I actually watch WNBA sometimes, and people give me crap for it. But
nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Well, guys, anything else you want to touch on real quick before we call it a night?
What's for dinner?
Beef. It's what's for dinner.
I've been eating fig Newtons for the past 2 hours. I'm ready to eat some.
I've been snacking on all kinds of snacks that my wife has been handing me left and right to kind of keep me going. So shout out to my wife for being nice enough to keep me fueled for the show. So
Mrs. Toll.
I've got my beverage in my trusty I love my dog mug here.
There you go.
What kind of dog you got, Matt?
I have a Chow. The two dogs that are here at my aunt's though are it's a chocolate lab and a Sheltie.
I'll have to Google that later. A Sheltie.
A Sheltie. It's like a mini Lassie dog.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a Lassie dog, like a collie, but they're small.
And for the first-time listeners, yes, this is a basketball/dog show. From time to time, we do have dogs and we showcase them. No, not really.
In a couple weeks, maybe we'll talk a little Batman versus Superman. What?
Yeah, we have to have Brendan back on.
Yeah, we got to get.
We need to get Brendan on here. He's the resident Batman advocate. So, definitely want to talk about that. We can do that separate. Let's see. Matt? When does that come out? Do you know the date?
Well, if you're going to like an evening show, it'll be like Thursday, the 24th.
Okay.
7:00 shows and stuff, but it officially comes out the 25th of March.
Okay, so we need to do that on the week of the 17th. We need to get that show going, add it into the topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've all seen the many trailers they put out for it.
Yeah.
The first one was really good. The second one, everybody thinks they showed too much. And the third one, when they showed that first minute of just Batman doing his thing, now everybody's again, of course.
Batman better win. That's all I know.
He did in the comic books.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hopefully
he better
it's
win.
true to form.
That's what I'm saying. Because usually they don't. A lot of times they go opposite.
They'll go with if they're gonna do anything, they'll go with a tie, I think.
Because do you know the X-Men guy, the dude that made most of the X-Men movies? He told the actors do not read any of the comic books because that's not where he was going with it.
Well, that's obvious.
Right.
Yeah,
I know.
He did redeem himself a few days of future past, though.
Yeah.
That was a great movie, though.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, that I think about wraps it up, guys. just want to say thanks to everybody in Sim Nation for joining us. Thanks to the NBA enthusiasts for joining us. Always like to talk NBA and everything in between. So we'll be back at you next week. Probably looking at, based on all of our schedules, either Thursday or Friday again. I know, Matt, you're always down to, pretty much whenever. Lance, I know you got work in there, so we'll figure out what's the best time.
Maybe next Friday again, because they had me working Thursday night this last week, although I don't know if they'll make me do it again, but maybe Friday night again, next Friday.
I mean, I'm good with either way.
Right. I guess I'll let y'all know if I can or not.
We'll figure it out come by Monday or Tuesday at the latest, because I want to do a good job of trying to get the links out, trying to get creative with kind of tweeting them out. Trying to do more hashtags to get more of an audience. So for those that are watching,
thank you.
Help us out with exposure, retweet it, any links we put out, and of course tune into the show each week. So. That's us signing off for this week. Thanks again for joining us. This has been the Hardwood Hoops Hangout.